Hey Devin, uh, this is actually the second take of this video, um, because the first one was like 20 minutes long, and I wanted to kind of reduce some thoughts and my, make the video a little bit more organized in terms of what I want to say. But this video is in response to your video where you said that you felt a bit confused about your life, um, and that you may stop creating videos, and that you may have misled some people with your words. And so, yeah, I actually wanted to reply to that sooner, but then I forgot. Could you believe it? And then now we're here. So I see in the new video, the video posted after that you're doing a little better. But nonetheless, I did want to say this. Just kind of never felt like the right time to say it, but now is the time for sure. So, first things first, man. I just want to say that you have been, you have been the most influential person in my spiritual journey. Period. Period. And it can be argued whether that is for good or bad, or how to say, for healing or not, right? But I would say in the last 6 years that I've been listening to, that I've resolved quite a few things and that I've progressed in quite a few ways. So all in all, I'd say it's pretty healing from my measurements, right? And those are the only measurements that matter, I reckon. So yeah, man, you've been the number one guy in my book in terms of just, this guy's tapped in. But guess what? I don't listen to you because you're Devin or you're like our savior or something, you know. I listen to you because I have my feelings, my intuitions, my truths that I can feel and that I could act by and that I observe just in myself and outside, right? And outside myself. But where I think your power really comes from, and or why you're so influential, why you're so fucking awesome, is that you can synthesize this with words in a way where it creates a form, right? Because it can be just like a feeling or an inkling or an just a felt inside, but then when you externalize it, when you express it on the outside with words and in a video, then it's like, yeah, that's a thing, man. That's a thing. And for a lot of us, or I'm not going to say for a lot of us, but for myself, but I reckon a lot of people can agree with what I'm saying, is that you provide that for a lot of people. You provide confirmation for a lot of the things that they already feel, right? And so that's why we love you. And I love you, man. You're awesome. You're so awesome. Like, really. Is that you provide confirmation for a lot of the things we feel, right? But it's not because people look to you as a savior or something, or like people look to you as a teacher even, because they shouldn't. If they do, then they shouldn't. But just that you have that ability, and that's awesome. And every work that you do, I view as a work of art, you know. And it's art, best art there is. Shit, what other art, what better art is there that can actually like express the truth and like explore it, and even like multiply it, kind of, you know. It's like you go into a piece of the truth and then you could like expand it more, you know. What better art is there, man? That's how I feel. And so that's the first part of what I wanted to say. Connecting to that is the people who perhaps, yes, did overly look to you as a teacher, right? As like a figurehead, right? And followed, though you don't really give advice about health or anything, but might have tried to too forcefully replicate some aspects that they saw within you. Well, I could have experience of that too, right? Is like, a person can be skewed to like either, you know, I'm not going to listen to anybody, or I'm going to, fanboy over this guy and like make him my idol and everything he says is right. Though rarely people will actually like admit that they're doing that, but it is like what they're doing functionally, right? And I've been on both sides of that in regards to, other people in the past, but in regards to you too, and I feel like, well, no, I don't feel like, I know that, everything that happens here happens for exactly how it's supposed to, non-duality. Everything here happens exactly how it's supposed to, and for very good reason, and it's all necessary, and it could not have happened any other way, because if it could have happened any other way, then it would have happened that way, but it didn't happen that way. It happened like this, so it had to happen this way, right? So, I mean, hey, if people did have that imbalance with you, and they look to you too much, right, then that's not on you, man. It's really not. It's really not. People, I guess, have a sense of responsibility for what they say, right, and how they conduct themselves. So it's a bit paradoxical, like everything is a bit paradoxical, right? But at the same time, people have a responsibility to follow their own guidance, right? And just speaking for myself now, not about people, is that I have fallen into that kind of like fanboyism, or like taking on everything that you say, right, as like gospel, basically, because it's like, oh, this guy's tapped in. I feel what he's saying, but I'm not exactly like that, like I'm not as tapped in right now, so I'm gonna like listen to him like the Bible, you know what I mean? And I have been there, but especially in the last year, even though I know, number one is my own experience, I knew that for a long time, but in the last year especially, I've really embodied that, and can confidently say my relationship with your content is different, right? And it's a healthier relationship, and it's on each person. So my point being here is that every person has that responsibility to themselves to rely on their own experience, on their own observation of their own energies, on the allegories that occur in their life, because everything here is allegorical, as we know, right? So it's like, you sold your home, right, for example, or like you said you were going to, right, and then maybe someone's like, yeah, I should like be homeless too, bro, well, like for every person, it doesn't actually matter, I think, except in like some really obvious situations, it doesn't actually matter what the person is doing. It matters how that behavior or how that decision works within the context of their life, works within the allegory of their life, right? Like, for example, a classic example I could think of is just like if somebody has, there's some rich guy, sorry, there's a bunch of flies around me now. If some guy has if there's like some rich guy, right, and he's like all stressed and stuff, and he's a billionaire and he's working like a bunch of jobs, what's the allegorically brave decision for him? He's working all these jobs, he's like ignoring parts of himself, he's like, and he feels terrible. And maybe the allegorically brave decision for him is to quit some of his jobs. And then if there's another person who, say, just can't get it together, they can't embody like the divine masculine of like getting their life in order, then maybe for them a brave allegorical decision would be to get a job, but that is like this completely two opposite things, but they're both like just what that person needs in the allegory of their life, you know what I mean? And I think everybody should be looking at their life in that way, that it's your experience and your feelings that dictate your actions and, understandings, as opposed to some guy on the internet who you don't know, even though he's fucking awesome, but his life is not your life, So yeah, I don't really think you should feel responsible for that, man. I really don't think so. Okay, so that was the second thing. And then the third thing is about the haters and the stress, right? Yeah, I get that. I get that, dude. Like, people gonna, it's like a common thing with, like, being here in purgatory. It's like tests often, often tests of, like, will you do the healing thing? Will you do the true thing? Will you do or say the true thing, even if it's unpopular, even if people don't like it? I think the mob that you have against you is completely just like, completely nonsensical for all of the, like, non-advice you give. Like, you're so neutral that you won't even, like, tell people about, like, health stuff or anything. Like, bro, what's there to hate? Like, literally turn it off if you don't like it. You know what I mean? At the same time, I get how that can be draining, and I get how it could be hard not to respond to all that bait, in terms of, like, people saying stuff about you, So if you want to quit doing YouTube videos, I'm all for it, man. You did so much. You worked in so many people's paths. Or I can't really speak for other people, but I could speak for me. And I would imagine there are a lot more like me. And you did that, man. You really did. I feel like in 2019 era, we needed that. Because everyone's, like, lost, Everyone's, like, talking about, like, Illuminati and lizards and, like, human trafficking, or, you know what I mean? Like, we're just talking about all this, like, all this stuff, all this, like, conspiracy stuff. But, hey, nobody's really paying attention to themselves. Nobody's really feeling that it's a dream world, baby. That's, like, reflecting everything that's inside of you outside. And, like, whoa, that's nuts. So I feel like this is just my intuitive feeling on it, is that you got blasted, dude. You got blown the fuck up in a good way. Like, you got shown all this stuff so that you could show everybody else. And you did. But now, hey, it's like, it's art, man. Your work is art. That's not to belittle it, but I'm saying, like, it's not to say it's like it's just art, right? But at the end of it all, it is really every person's experience, and every person can synthesize this on their own. They can. And if they can't, then they will learn how to, and they will have to learn how to know themselves, right? But you're just working in divine synchronicity of that. I say synchronicity, by the way, not synchronicity. You're just working in divine synchronicity of that to work in this orchestration, you know what I mean? And it's all perfect. It's all perfect. Even if you say something wrong, it's still perfect, You could say, hey, I'm a guy too, you know what I mean? But you're just, you're awesome and you're tapped in. I know you are. But at the same time, I do recognize that you are a guy like me who has his own shit, his own bullshit in this purgatory world. And we're all going through it, man. We're all going through it, and it's I just don't think you should take any of it so harshly, I think that's unnecessary to be that hard on yourself. Especially for someone like you, man. Dude, come on, you did so much. There's probably, like, not one person that has worked so much in the progression of the soul's journey as you. And I'm really not trying to dick ride you. I'm just saying how it is, man. That is, like, objectively fucking true. But I get it. I get it if you want to stop doing YouTube videos. I mean, hey, what can I say to argue about the allegory of your life? You know what I mean? But, yes. It's like, if it's a drain, screw it, It's alright. You gave so much already, and you've done so much in the name of healing, like no one else has, really, like no one else has. So is that it? Is that all I have to say? Give me a moment. I'm gonna think if there's anything else I wanted to say. Yeah, I guess just to that point, I wanted to also mention that it's, I get your feeling when you say it's tiring having to put up that persona, you know, that you're perfect, right? Or that people listen to you, so you have to pretend as if you have it all figured out, you know? Sorry, I'm not looking at the camera. I just have this like bug on me. uh, I get that it can be tiring to put on that persona, really do. But hey, you don't have to. You don't have to. You could just make your art. Whoever likes it, likes it. I like it, you know. I don't take it as gospel, but it is beautiful. It's really beautiful. And time I see a new video, I'm like, nice, dude. And guess what? We're all going through the same stuff. You know, it's the same flavor. It's the same flavor for everybody. But it's like, it's a little different. It's different in how it's expressed itself, but it's the same flavor, dude. Like, me too. My whole thing has been a bit upside down recently too, in terms of some realizations about myself and, you know, worldview and stuff. Not everything, but a lot of really big, critical, personal things, you know. And so I feel like everybody's kind of getting turned upside down. I could think of some, I only have a few friends, but for them too, they're getting turned upside down too. So, you know, it's like these waves of, you know, more intensity or less, but everybody gets theirs, you know, gets what they need. And so I just don't want you to feel also like you are alone in that. We're all going through it. I said this not to take away from what you're going through, but just to give you a sense of unity, that we are all going through this. And I feel you, dude. I really feel you. I really feel you. But I just want to say how it is. I'm not trying to, how to say, I hope this will make you feel better, because I don't think you deserve to feel so down about it, you know, but that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying things to make you feel better. I'm saying things that are like objectively true in my life, or like how I'm perceiving it, you know. You have been a very beneficial influence in my life, and I'll say this, so much so that even if all of your videos, they were for literally nobody, even if like nobody else got anything beneficial out of it whatsoever, which I know isn't true, but even if there was literally nobody else that got anything beneficial out of any of your videos, and it was only I got benefit out of it, I still say they're all worth it. It was all worth it, and they're all awesome. So I'd still say that, even if it was just me. But it's not just me. I don't think so. Fat chance it's just me, dude. Yeah, I think you helped a lot of people, dude. So yeah, I guess that's it. This video ended up being as long as the other one, but I do think the thoughts were better structured, actually. So yeah, man, we got it. We're all here. We're all here trying to resolve our own stuff, and we will. And we're going through it, and it's beautiful, even when it's rough. And this is just another patch of growth, a rough patch of growth for you, as we are all having right now. And yeah, and I know it'll lead to the best possible outcome, because it's happening now, and it's the only thing that could have happened, right? So yeah, man, I love you, dude. We don't talk much at all, but I love you. Universe loves you. You love you, and we will get through it. So yeah, man, I'll see you later.